Welcome to the Ascend Growth AI podcast, where we mix smart growth moves with a little AI magic. I'm Teresa. Let's dive in. For today's guest, we have Dan Swiniarski, the president and COO at Creative Branding and Labels, a company that's redefining packaging by combining branding strategy with innovative labeling solutions. Dan brings a unique blend of creative, operational, and leadership expertise to the world of consumer packaging. So Dan, welcome.
It's good to be here, Teresa.
Perfect. Start by sharing a bit about your background and what brought you to Wright Creative Branding and Labels.
If you would have asked my younger self where I would see myself at 60, it wouldn't be running a multi-million-dollar creative design and label manufacturing company. It's just a weird path. I truly would consider myself having gone through the school of hard knocks. I had a great sports career as a young kid and took that to college and then the U.S. Marines. I spent 30 years in the golf world. I played professionally and built golf course communities throughout Eastern North Carolina. Met a lot of people, built quite a Rolodex over the years. And in the early 2000s, when the real estate market tanked, one of my daughter's best friends' fathers, a guy that I golfed with, was the president of a 100-year-old mattress manufacturing company. I went to work there, building and selling mattresses, and I ended up the vice president of sales. Wright Creative Branding was actually one of our customers 22 years ago. Who knew that I would be the president and COO 22 years later? It was kind of a weird way to get here, but I will close that question out with what a gratifying experience it's been the last 8 years, because every day is a different day. A customer has a new design, a customer has a new passion, a customer has a new program, a new product, they're refreshing a line. There's always something new, creative, innovative, and it's so important to our customers. Like, they're geeked about it. It's so exciting and energizing every day. We'll dig into more of the other side of the stuff as we go through the interview. It's been a great experience to be running the company 22 years later as they were a client.
That's fantastic. And what does Creative Branding and Labels do?
We either help a company create a brand to go to market, or we take an existing client and their brand and enhance. We primarily design and manufacture premium labels. So it could be a distilled spirit. You walk into the store and there's a million different bottles. Some of them have a brown liquid in it, some have a clear liquid in it. What separates them from each other? We service the food and beverage industry, the distilled spirits industry, wine, commercial companies, manufacturing, and our largest segment is mattresses. It's safe for me to say that every house in America probably has a mattress with our label on it. We service worldwide all the biggies. It's a big industry.
Wow, I didn't realize that. And how many, like you mentioned the types of companies that you serve, is that all, or are you looking to go into different industries?
We primarily have a foothold in the mattress world, so that's pretty strong. It's about 60% of our business. We're growing aggressively. Distilled spirits, we do so many labels for like peanut butter and Costco brands and things like that. So there's tons of opportunity in many industries, and we'll talk a little bit more about it, I'm sure, but we've really focused since last November on bringing in talented people to go out and sell and grow in this very exciting time.
Good. How would you describe your ideal customer?
Our ideal customers, we're not a black ink on a white label like a Vistaprint, right? We're a premium label company. So we make labels that are digital, or they're offset, or they're screen print, or they're vinyl, or they're poly, or they're badges, or they're woven, or they're embroidered. We have so many different techniques in 3 big manufacturing facilities in Eastern North Carolina. The ideal customer is one that has many products. Could be a product line with 12 different flavors, right? It's a front label, a back label, a neck label, and one that's growing. We have many clients that are under $5,000 a year, but multi-millions of dollars a year. So it just depends. And those that pay, we like those that pay bills, right?
Of course. That's a very important criterion.
Absolutely.
And it sounds like mattresses are worldwide. Are your customers typically in the U.S., or do you have worldwide?
Good question. We have a strong foothold in the U.S., but our mattress business is international. We have facilities in Asia and in South America. So we just had a big order come in and shipment get ready to go to Peru. We have companies that make covers for like big companies like Tempur-Pedic and Casper and Purple, and we ship those labels to facilities in Denmark, Mexico, or China. So it's very international.
What trends are you seeing in the packaging and branding space right now?
Trends. Mattress is unique in that there's some brands, and I guess this would be across our entire customer spectrum. The cool thing is there are many brands rich in history. And so their market and branding direction is geared towards the history, kind of like our company, 63 years old. So that kind of doesn't change much. It's rare to have a company come in and knock it out of the house with something that's new and modern. And so we are seeing more and more newer brands come into market, especially with the influencer space and people that are gaining millions of followers, and they get into all kinds of new products. And so that's been fun to work on all those new products that are more modern, more today. And we help those companies because we have been around for a long time and keep them in their lane. We can keep them unique and not a Me Too brand. So there's more than just creating a pretty label and printing it. It takes a lot of work.
Oh, no, there's definitely a skill to that. How about just like inflation, supply chain pressures, tariffs? Has that impacted your business?
Brutal. We're a manufacturing company, really. We produce and make beautiful labels, but at the end of the day, we're a manufacturing company. So you have machinery, you have materials, a dozen different materials that you can print a label on or make a label with. Those have to be supplied. Fortunately, we do have facilities in Asia, America, so we have great redundancy when it comes to supply chain. But things like tariffs and delays, and you got to deal with ocean freight or air freight. It's a symphony, and it's a magic show all the time trying to figure out how to make it all come together. And you have some brands that may order 100, 200, 300,000 labels a month. And you're not only do you have to make those and ship them, but you got to have material for WIP and things you're in production. It's amazing all that goes on behind it. The average label, we're talking a $3 label is not normal. Like most labels are 25 to 35 to 50 cents. So when you're dealing with hundreds of thousands of 20, 30-cent labels and a material cost goes up 5%, that just creates a lot of havoc and uncertainty in the business. So.
Oh, yeah. And every day the regulations are changing, right? So
Yeah.
whatever you planned doesn't apply the next day.
It's like the weather. Just wait around and it'll change.
Yes. How about AI? Are you using it in any part of your operations right now?
Well, I'm super, super bullish on AI. I mean, I started, and my wife months ago, just absorbing, signing up for classes I've just gone for a half a dozen certification classes and workflow classes, and just really started digging in because our company, is being 63 plus years old, has some very dated technology, our ERP system, a lot of the things we use for production. I'm going to be able to utilize a lot of AI and workflow processes to help us save hundreds of thousands of dollars. To be able to look deeper into the data, to look at trends, to look at historical information today. Amazing. I created a couple weeks ago a simple little workflow to manage my own expenses. We're paying somebody $15,000 a year for a service to manage that. And in a matter of 10 minutes, I was able to create a workflow with 4 nodes that'll save us $15,000, $20,000 a year. That didn't eliminate human beings, but it eliminated a 5-figure ticket item that we have to pay for every year. I'm super excited about all the things that we can do with it. So yeah, great.
I mean, it's amazing as the president and COO, you're doing your own workflows. I mean, are you technically savvy? Most people will be intimidated by classes.
Yeah, when I was in the golf industry and the internet started, I mean, I got involved in creating local area networks and hooking up all of our PCs and built websites and built an e-commerce company with a partner. So I'm not afraid to break something, so I'll just dive right in and figure it out.
Okay, I think that's very rare. Of all the people I've interviewed so far, I haven't heard anyone who's been building their own workflow. So that's really impressive.
I love it. And it's always that like, okay, time to test it. From one node to the next node to the next node, and you see the success, and it's a lot of fun. Yeah.
That's great. Is there any areas where you want to start using AI?
Definitely on our inventory control, because that's a $200,000 a year cost to us. When you think about producing hundreds of millions of labels a year, and the material and the time, process and plan, execute and produce. When a customer service or an account manager enters an order into our system, there's a lot of things that go on behind the scenes to tie all that together. The artwork, the material, the planning, the processing, and they don't really get a good view today into the historical data of our system. They see, okay, this label, maybe they've ordered 2,000 a month for the last 3 months, so they order another 2,000. Snapshot deep into the data where they can say, last year they ordered this many, the year before they ordered this many. There was a sale in July for 4th of July. So maybe we should put 4,000 on the shelf, which is going to allow us to produce more, at a more efficiency, us make more money, give the customer a better, and be prepared. So that's where I think we can save hundreds of thousands of dollars a year just by having a better view into the historical data of our inventory.
And so, how does ordering work or production work? Is it usually when a customer orders, then you produce?
Yeah. So sometimes it'll be one and done, or it's an annual order. The grape season for a winery in Virginia is twice a year. So unless they have a new product, it's just same label as last year. They order it twice a year. Or it could be a program for someone like Tempur-Pedic mattress company where there's 12 beds and it's a 3-year program. We have to make them in North Carolina, we have to make them in China, we have to make them in South America, and we have to create this whole inventory control program for the materials that make it, for the inventory and everything. That could be just a big ongoing, there's a team that manages just that one account. So
then I guess the inventory is more like the raw material inventory, because once the order comes in, then you print it, but you need the labels and all the raw material to be ready in your facilities.
Correct. And we also have labels in inventory. Because there's some companies that the demand is so high, we got to build them and put them on the shelf. If they've got 15 plants across the United States and those plants place an order for labels and they have a production day, they better be there when they're getting ready to produce those mattresses day. Same thing with the distilled spirits. Like when they have a bottling date and they order their labels, you better have them there the day that they're doing that bottling. If everybody has to stop, that's cost everybody a lot of money.
Okay. What's something that Wright Creative is doing really well right now? What are you particularly proud of?
I will say that since becoming the president and COO last November, our company came out of COVID. We had a couple of really big years during COVID because things were going crazy in the world. More people were drinking. They were sitting at home. Business, people getting money to stay home. They were upgrading their home, like their home furnishings, like everything. We were just gangbusters. And then we came out of COVID and the market turned around pretty hard and we lost a couple of really big customers. And our sales started to really decline. And what makes you good, no matter what you do, is kind of your Achilles heel. And so being that we had second generation owners, brothers, 60-plus-year-old company that was used to doing things a certain way. We had a dated sales force that weren't hunting and we were just farming the business. They had several years of a downward spike in sales. And since last November, we've turned the needle and we're up 300% in sales and profit. And things are just, we're super proud of the team. I've hired 7 new salespeople in different parts of the country, and we're just, we got a long way to go. I want to double the size of the company, but we're going in the right direction now. We're truly growing and selling. I'm pretty proud of that.
That is something to be very proud. I mean, 300%, that's impressive. But the secret, it sounds like getting the sales and having your systems in place.
Hire the right people. You don't have to micromanage them. Give them the tools to go do what they need to do. Be consistent. Provide them with good product. And the promise, we're very dedicated to our promise to our customers. It's one of our most important things. We always want to do what we say we're going to do. Right. We call it right the first time. WRIGHT is our company, right? So Wright Labels, we call it right the first time. That's our deal,
How do your sales reps find customers now?
We use a lot of different tools. We use things like LinkedIn Navigator, Apollo, these databases full of different companies, Zoom info that you can search and find. And we have a kind of developed within our marketing department, an account coordinator who is focused on finding good contacts at companies, providing each sales rep with some positive leads or positive contacts that have been vetted so they can do their outreach. Not a lot of micromanaging. Everybody knows why they're here, what their job is, and what the expectations are. We created something our company never had, which was something simple as the right sales process, the WRIGHT sales process. We hired a guy that had written several books, and he's a great speaker, and he's worked with some of the biggest companies in the world and developed their sales programs, and we brought him in. He's going to be in next week for round 4, and just training people to have the right sales mind, to be focused on what matters. Our focus for the next quarter, which is our fiscal year just ended June 30th, so our first quarter is now July, August, September, and our focus is going to be maximizing our momentum, right? So we turned it around since November. We've got 5 new people. Like, we're going in the right direction. In my opinion, we've only got to the 30-yard line. We haven't gotten to 50 or even to the other side of the midfield. We've got a long way to go, but we got to maximize on the momentum we've created over the last 6 months. So that's sales training is a big part of it.
Yeah. Sounds like, I mean, you have a long way to go, but it sounds like it's working. So you're on a good track.
But victory is fun, right?
Yeah.
So when you're getting beat up every day and, sales are going, profitability is going that way, and everybody looking around like, where are we going? What are we doing? It was not hard through COVID. Even though business was spiking and going crazy, we were dealing with supply chain issues. We were dealing with tariffs. It was hard. And then when you come out of that and sales drop dramatically and you're trying to fill, it's been very hard. I mean, and I always make sure that I tell everybody at our company how grateful we are. And another thing that we had in 2021 was we had a ransomware attack. We had the night before Thanksgiving in 2021, I think it was, the lights went dark. Somebody got into one of our customer service people's account and was keylogging them and wanted a $2 million ransom. So we lost everything. And fortunately, all our artwork for all of our customers for all these years was on a server that was outside of the business. We would have lost that. But we rebuilt from day by hand, by email, by phone calls, and never missed an order. The team it was incredible. So it's been hard, but we're getting into the light.
That's good. How did you keep people motivated during that time?
We're lucky to have good people. What makes you good is our history, our people, our passion. We've got great customers. When you're dealing with some of these big brands and they're the first person they call all the time, so it's just great. Everybody came together and got it done. It was a blessing.
You're really lucky to have that team. How about a recent challenge? Now that you're kind of turning the corner, is there any challenges or areas of friction in your business?
Most recently would be the tariff issues with our new administration. A lot of our supplies, our inks, our materials come in from China. That's what happened to our country over the last 20 years. So that has been a struggle. But when you have good customers and they're dealing with the same issue as we are, like they just buy a label from us, but they may buy an inner spring, they may buy glass, they may buy zippers. Everybody's dealing with this issue. So it's not that hard. It's just figuring out the balance, right? Where everybody's speaking from the same perch. But people being in Eastern North Carolina, finding good quality people is always a big challenge. We have people that need to stand in front of a printing press and be very technical, not as simple. It's not 1, 2, 3 kick. This is a very demanding process, and so that's always a challenge. People will always be a challenge. Always hiring and trying to find that 70% of your workforce are the pistons of the engine. They're the ones they're the clock watchers, always looking for their break over. But that's the heartbeat of the business. 10% of your people, you don't even have to worry about. They're just go-getters and make it happen. And then that lower 20%, you got to be continually trying to bring people and try to find another 70%, and God forbid it, you're good to go.
Yes. What are the KPIs and metrics that you look at on a weekly or monthly basis?
Yeah, that's a good one. In our business, you have to have KPIs because there's a lot that goes into making a label and making it correctly. Just a simple thing that has to do with certification for the ABC licensing and stuff like that. We have KPIs that include safety, missed shipments, reversals would be something that had to be back and done again, on-time shipments, margins, inventory, transportation, waste. They go on and on. We have our own continuous improvement department head for that's continually managing our 8 deadly waste. We have a great NCR program where if there's a return, it gets into our system, it gets a number and gets all the information. And if it's over a certain dollar amount, they have meetings to review it from all the different teams that touched it, continuing education and just always trying to improve. It's a big part of what we do.
Yeah, and that's quite a lot of metrics. It has to be though, right, to run a business like yours. Is there any conflicting metrics?
If you ask a lot of employees, say a lot of them are conflicting, but at the end of the day, they're all necessary. In our industry, some people say that bad data is bad, but in our situation, all data is good. It doesn't matter what it is. We got to get it, review it, use it to get better.
Where do you want Wright Creative to be in 6 to 12 months?
6 to 12 months, I would love to have a little more AI, a little more workflow, a little more system integration to continue to see 4 to 5% growth in sales and there's a couple of other industries I want to get in with some of our technical labels that I'm excited about finding a new hire to go after. And we've got a little plan over our new year just started July 1, so it's an exciting time to get out of the gate with a good start.
Is there anything that's standing in the way of that vision right now?
The only thing I will say that could be a deterrent would just be if something happened severely with the economy. The good news is our country doesn't make anything anymore. We consume. That's our gross domestic product. How much do people buy? That's never going away. Hopefully it changes and we start to produce more things here in America. But There are always going to be people that need to buy food, and drink, bed to sleep on, or furniture. So we're okay in that respect. But if something was to happen to the economy or a war, those are the things that could get in the way. But we're continuing to look at our business holistically, close plants, consolidate, get stronger, and move out certain designs and labels of things that aren't very profitable. We're not doing. Just continue to streamline and just get better. Pretty bullish on the future.
Earlier you mentioned if you asked your younger self if you would be in this role right now, you would have never guessed, right? If you were to tell your younger self or give yourself some advice, or you were to start, what advice would that be?
I don't know. For me, I've always been school of hard knocks guy. I never really had role models or somebody to guide me. Left home at a young age and went to play golf for a living. Here I am today. I made a lot of mistakes, but I'm always 110% in whatever decision I make, good, bad, or indifferent. I've had to apologize to a lot of people over the years. It just comes with the territory. When I went to work at Wright 8 years ago, I was hired as an account manager just to manage one account. 4 years ago, they asked me to be the executive vice president of sales and marketing, and now I'm the president. So if anybody that's just anywhere in their life, I've always been someone who makes plans and writes things down and evaluates, and I've never had a problem with getting up early in the morning at 4 a.m. and getting out the door for exercise and getting to the gym and just having my daily mantras of what I'm going to get done today and just leading people, building a team. I guess the only advice I would have for myself, my younger self, would have been to maybe be more focused at a younger age, not trying to be everything to everybody, and just focus, finding the true passion. Although golf was a true passion that I really worked hard at. But in business, it was a few times in my life, I let the shiny new object get to me. So I would say just figure out what it is you want and go get it, but stay focused.
How do you know when something's the shiny object, the right thing?
Doing enough research. One thing I've learned is that you don't have to be smart. Smart people are always willing to talk to you and tell you everything they know. People love to talk, right? People love to tell their story. Just today, I could sit here and talk to you all day. Just love it. That's how people are. So if you want to get involved in something, find LinkedIn, find somebody, reach out and say, I really want to get into your business, and I'd love to chat with you. Most people are going to give you the time to steer you straight. Do the homework.
That's good advice. How about, what advice would you give to someone who wants to run a creative or branding business at scale?
Have a good team. It's a low margin, high volume world, right? So you have to have staying power. You got to be able to make it through the tough times, because it is a high volume, low margin business. You're not selling a $30,000 unit. You're selling a 20-cent unit at scale. My advice would be make sure it's really what you want to do.
In today's market, do you think it's even possible for someone to?
Very difficult. I always thank the owners today that they build a bridge that I walked across. I don't take any credit for anything. I just love what we get to do every day. I'm not a creative person. I'm an ops guy. I'm the guy that they say, go take the hill and I'll go figure it out. But we've got tons of creative people. So it's just a great place to be. And it's not physical. It's mostly managing people and priorities and growing. And it's things I love to do. I would advise anybody to get a graphic arts degree or do something with a community college in the graphic space and go to work at a printing company and make sure they're creative people at heart, right? So I made a suggestion that somebody loved. First one in a year. I'm not the creative guy.
That's really fun. If someone wanted to get in touch with you or learn more about Wright Creative, where should they go?
They should go to our website, Wright Labels, WRIGHT, labels.com. They could find me on LinkedIn. I always try to respond to anybody that reaches out with either a, hey, thanks for connecting, I'm not interested, but Wright, we got a great website that our marketing creative director produced, and they can contact us there, and we will be happy to looking for new business and new partners.
Perfect. Thank you so much, Dan. I really enjoyed our conversation. That's a wrap for today's episode. Thanks for hanging out with us. If you got value, share it, tag us, and don't forget to hit subscribe. Catch you next time on the Ascend Growth AI podcast.